So here they come, ladies and gentlemen, in wedge formation. The start of our high show. Get your cameras ready.
Go. 3-point Roulettes. In the overhead, this time surface to 6,000 for the show.
Wow, look at doing barrel rolls.
So roulette leaders got a very difficult and demanding job to do. He's got to not only fly the display to make sure it's done safely, and he's got the lives of all the other 5 pilots behind him in his hands, but he's also got to maintain an awareness of all the air traffic coming in and out of Melbourne to make sure that there's not going to be any confliction. So he's working very hard. So these aircraft are flying around about 2 to 3 metres away from each other, and the way that we fly formation, there's no real secret or trick to it really. What they do is the wingman, so roulettes 2 through 6, stare nothing but at R1 and line up visual cues on his aircraft to maintain station maintenance. So today's venue is actually quite difficult, mainly because of the wind. These guys, they look like they're pretty much not moving, but if you're in the aircraft you'd see them, they're actually bumping around quite a bit. There's a fair bit of turbulence that they've got to deal with today, and also the wind. So Steve Baker's got to make sure that the aircraft stay exactly crowd centre. So he's got to allow for the wind, so he'll bank on, bank off all the way around the turn. So again, working very hard, pulling around 4 to 5 G in this manoeuvre. So if you look carefully, you can actually see them starting to drift to the left. And again, Steve's taking that into account. And so what he'll do is, rather than position the team sort of to the south and quite close, he'll actually extend out and let the wind blow the aircraft in. So he's got to have an awareness of air traffic control, what the other guys are doing, his aerobatics himself, and also take into account the wind and how that's going to push the aircraft around. So he's actually got his hands pretty full at the moment, but again, he's just doing a perfect job, and it all looks very, very easy. So the formation you just saw was the leader's benefit fly past, and that's a tribute to our very first roulette leader, squad leader Phil Dunn. He first led the team all the way back in 1971. It's quite a difficult manoeuvre, so roulette 1's generally got a fairly easy job at that point. His job is to fly as straight and level and as accurate as he can. Roulette 4 goes directly behind him, and his propeller is about 2 metres from his tail. And then roulettes 2, 3, and 5 and 6 will fly what we call line abreast, so they're directly left and right of each other, and they've got quite a difficult position to fly in, because even though all they have to do is fly straight and level, they've got to look either directly left off their shoulder or right, and they've got very few cues to actually make sure they're in perfect station maintenance. And again, they've now just moved into the box, the 6-pack formation, and again, roulettes 2 and 3 and 5 and 6, again in that difficult position where they've got to look directly over their shoulder while pulling around about 4 or 5 G, so it's quite uncomfortable for the guys. Not that I have any sympathy for them. So you can see that smoke blowing a fair bit to the left, so again they're working very hard with that strong southerly wind. And look at the top of the loop, they'll go from the 6-pack to twin formations. Get your cameras ready, this one's pretty spectacular.
Go!
So if you look look out to your left and right now, roulettes 5 and 6, so it's Matt Plenty and Bernie Gleason are about to pull up for a half Cuban, and they'll run into what we call a roulette wheel. So I'll now roll inverted, as you can see, and then a 4G turn, a 4G pitch through the inverted, leveling down to 500 feet. So now they're looking forward to make sure they can spot each other, which is when the smoke comes in very handy. They're going to run in with a rounded closure rate of around about 1,000 kilometres per hour. There is no illusion to this trick. These guys will pass about 5 metres from each other. Not over yet. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause. That always stops my heart. I've seen this show that 100 times. So from directly behind you now, roulettes 1 through 4, turning on their smoke in the T formation. And you just see how difficult that wind is blowing that smoke so far. So we call this formation the box formation. And again, so roulettes 2, 3 and 4 are doing nothing but looking directly at roulette 1. And so it's a complete trust exercise to make sure that Steve doesn't fly these guys into the ground. And again, he's doing a perfect job. As the box formation departs, have a look out to your right as roulette 5 and 6 set up for the mirror fly pass.
What are you talking about?
When we were up in Singapore, I was very lucky. Steve let me fly in the back of Roulette 6 aircraft, and I got to participate in the mirror. And like I say, it's probably the weirdest thing I've done in my flying career, having an aircraft inverted above you about 3 metres. I admit I was a little bit scared, but these guys are cool, calm and collected. So this is the roulette corkscrew. Roulette 1's upside down, and roulette 4, Corey Fisher, flies barrels around the rear of the formation.
I thought you said...
How's that, Mum? Where are you? Pretty cool, right? And now behind you, roulettes 5 and 6 are coming back in again. Again, side by side, looking, roulette 5 leading the way. Roulette 6 is looking off his right shoulder. And they're pulling up and performing a tribute to all the mums out there. Happy Mother's Day. The roulette heart. And look at that, the one big patch of blue sky. They managed to fit the heart inside. I think we've been gifted and blessed by the aviation gods today. So as roulettes 5 and 6 depart, look as roulettes 1 through 4 set up for the ripple rolls. 2, 3, 4. Give them a wave as they come past. I always like to check out the crowd when I do this one. And then here comes squadron leader Matt Plenty, roulette 5 for his solo display. And again, he's got the one part of the sky that is completely clear and fouled, so they're doing very well today. So Matt starts his display with a vertical roll, pulling 5B to get to the vertical. He'll start rolling his aircraft, as you can see, before placing it into uncontrolled flight. So that was Matt's call, departed, which means he's completely lost control of the aircraft. But he's regained this. This aircraft's like a dart. It's basically nose heavy, so the aircraft will want to naturally drop the nose, and the table stabilises the aircraft as it comes back down to earth. So it makes it very easy for us to regain control. And again, he's demonstrating the turning capability of the aircraft by pulling 6G in that turn. Now, give him a wave as he comes past. Squadron leader Matt 20. And if you go to your front left now, ladies and gentlemen, roulettes 1 through 5 are pulling up for the card 5 loop and fly past. From the card 5 formation to the wedge, watch as Matt races to rejoin the rest of the team. He's got to work very hard to rejoin the rest of the team the way he's doing. He, best way to describe the rejoin process, it's like doing sort of a parallel park without brakes. So he's got to use gravity and aerodynamics to make sure that he makes it just right. And he's got a very limited time to do it, because as they're running in again in their wedge formation for a barrel roll. What you're seeing is the wedge to Vulcan rollbacks. That's actually quite a difficult and dangerous maneuver that we find, because as the guys pull up and away from the formation, they actually lose sight of all the other aircraft. So they've got to make sure they do it just right. If they pitch and roll too hard, they can potentially fly back through the rest of the aircraft and cause a collision. And if they don't do it fast and hard enough, they'll actually fall out of the formation completely. So they've done a perfect job today. And again, roulette 4, Corey Fisher's moved right in behind Steve. And his propeller spinning around about 2,000 times a minute is about 1.5 meters to 2 meters from R1's tail. So he's got to make sure he has the way that he maintains station is by adjusting power to move forward and back the whole time. And again, he's doing a perfect job today. So to give you an idea, these aircraft are about 10 meters long. The propeller itself is about another metre from the nose, so if the propeller that you can't see in front of Corey Fisher's plane, again, yeah, about 2 metres from Steve's tail, so quite dangerous, but well performed today.
Roulette leads Steve Baker, was the museum's operations officer up until about 12 months ago.
Yeah, that's right.
He went back to Central Flying School.
That's right. He came to the Central Flying School mid last year, and the way that we replace the roulettes is that the current roulette pilot will train the pilot that is replacing him. So the older one trains Steve on how to do everything you see here. And again, so as each pilot leaves, they spend about 2 years in the team, and so the next one to leave is Corey Fisher. He's actually retiring from the Air Force. And this is his final season with the team, and so he will train the next upcoming Roulette 4, how to do the Roulette 4 position. And that could be, Roulette 4 could come from the current team, but every single job is very different. So Roulette 2 can't just jump in and do Roulette 4's job. So there's about a 2-month workup program, even if you're already in the team and as a Roulette pilot. So it's a lot of preparation, a lot of training, and hard work goes into getting the team to the standard you can see today. So just moving from the wedge to the delta formation, which is basically the wedge in reverse. As you can see, they've done that now, so roulettes 2 and 3 have moved up a beam, Steve. And they're setting up for our grand finale, the delta loop and bomb burst.
Go.
And I think we timed this beautifully.
Looks like there's another shower of rain coming, so we couldn't have timed it any better, I think.
Pulling up. Roulettes, top breast. Top breast. Go!
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's flying display. Again, thank you very much for coming out and braving the weather. We've timed it pretty well. Looks like there's another shower on the way. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there. And